You people on YouTube, you're a funny bunch of fellas and ladies. I'm going to tell you a couple of different stories today. They're all true. They're all true. Um, if if we got the famous quote unquote Chubba Wubba to do the research, he would find out that everything was true. We're going to talk about Don C as well, because I don't believe that Don C has an Olympic swimming pool that he swims in, considering what an Olympic swimming pool is. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the Book of Mormons, Mormons, and Joseph Smith and the gold plates given to Joseph Smith by the angel Moroni, Moroni. It's a play on words, as it says in the title. So, whether or not you choose to believe that I studied religion and theology for 20 plus years, seriously studied religion and theology. And then that's why I wrote the book, Angels on the Ark. That's how I discovered the pictographs. Hey, Aloe de Winter. That's how I discovered the pictographs on the dollar bill, by doing the research into religion and theology. And that what the symbols on the dollar bill meant. Some of them are ancient, that go back, well, the pyramids, 12,000 years is what they say the age of the pyramids are, but they go back a lot further than that. The pyramid, with energy flowing out of the top of the pyramid, goes back pre-Sphinx era, but that's all besides the point. Today's conversation is going to be about Popeye, the Giga, G-I-G-A, the Giga ego, his viewpoint about polygamy, which I find to be hilarious at best and sad at worst. How Popeye has been moved around the chessboard, the YouTube chessboard, and is now a pawn of the Giga ego. And how blatantly obvious it is to myself and other people that Popeye has forgiven the Giga ego his trespass against us, all of us, and his word salads, and how Popeye has not been able to see through the Giga ego's word salads. Let me tell you, before we go any further, there's the smartest, most manipulative, most untrustworthy blogger in the Philippines community, in my opinion, is the Giga ego. Because I have seen personally him flip-flop from where he was going to testify on my behalf against my attacker, and then 2 weeks later they meet in person. He gives my attacker $250 in super chat and coffee money, him and his missus, takes him out to dinner, buys him drinks. So he went from offering to come to Bohol to be a witness against a person to giving a person, my attacker, and I can say he was my attacker because he pled guilty to that, $250 and buying dinner and drinks for my attacker. So he flip-flops like the wind blows. And I would make a statement in a minute when it comes to his morality and his belief in everyone should have freedom of choice, polygamy, in regards to polygamy, that if a wife or a girl or your partner or your concubine you believe it's okay to have multiple wives, girlfriends, partners, whatever, you pass them around like cotton candy at a church festival, that it's also okay for the wife, concubine, girlfriend, or whatever to have multiple husbands. So my statement, question is, will the Giga Ego come out of the closet now that he's putting all this out on the table? So I have proof. I have proof that he has lied to me in regards to he was going to come and be a material witness for me. I have it in an email. I also have proof that I sent him an email 7.5 hours prior to our ascribed meeting time, whereas I made that appointment the day before, and then afterwards in various videos he posted or pointed out that he's going to get to the truth of what Fazio, or who Fazio really is. He's going to get Fazio drunk, and we're going to find out who the real Michael Fazio is. Well, first of all, that's not going to happen, because I am the real Michael Fazio, and I don't give up stuff that's not gonna be harmful to my well-being in regards to my past. I never did, and I never will. However, he was going to get me drunk and pry the real Michael Fazio out of Michael Fazio. That's never going to happen. Number one, it's not going to happen because I would never get drunk with somebody I didn't know. Second of all, I don't drink in public places to get drunk with people I don't know. But that was his plan. So after I made the agreement to meet with the Giga Ego, then he posted on Big Kevin's show and on his show that he was going to find out who the real Michael Fazio was. And after I listened to those shows, and after he divulged information that him and I face-to-face agreed should not be made public, I said, this man, the Giga Ego, is not to be trusted. I made that decision by 10 o'clock the following morning after I made the agreement the night before to meet with him. So I debated on how to go about sending him a message, and at 1:17 in the afternoon, the day of the so-called meeting, I sent him a message. I'll read it to you. I'll read the message to you, but I won't show it to you. But if I get called on this, and he wants to debate me on this, tell him to throw up $100 on Super Chat, and I'll show his email. But he also has to write permission for me to show his email. And it has to be him that does it. So I can read the email to you that I wrote to him, but in synopsis, I said, I respect, at 1:17 in the afternoon, I respectfully decline your offer to meet with you tonight. And I didn't really give an exact reason, because at that point, I have no respect for the man whatsoever. He broke a personal agreement that we made just prior to that meeting and divulged information that he wasn't supposed to talk about. And then he blabbered it all over Big Kevin's live stream. I have it copied. And then he blabbered it all over his live stream. So what do you want me to do? You want me to get onto go out to drink with a yenta? A yenta is a Jewish word for a blabbermouth. Somebody that can't, and it just goes from one show to the other, instigating trouble. A yenta. A yenta is a woman or a man that goes around and asks personal questions to you directly as a friend, and then goes around and blabs that to somebody whose business it is not. That's a yenta. And that's what the Giga Ego is. He's a yenta. But he's also the most masterful manipulator on YouTube. So I got to go to the comments. So I have to put my crazy glasses on. And then let's go to the comments. I'll open up this. Let's see if I could do it like this. I think I can. I'm working off a different phone today. I'm working off of a, okay. Here's another Yenta. Miko, hey Michael, you're another Yenta. You go around to everybody's show, ask personal questions, talking about Yentas, and then you go and blab that personal information that someone just gave you on every show possible, as if it was your information. You're a Yenta. See, you talk about Yentas and Yentas appear. Miko, you did that with me last week. 2 weeks ago, you asked me, how does John, whatever that guy's name is, life is good. How did John get his money? So John had made it clear about 7 months ago that he inherited land, and that's how he lives, off that money. And then I told you the answer to the question, Yenta Miko, Yenta Miko, Yenta Miko. And then you went and told everybody on everybody else's channel the information as if you, without giving me credit for it. Which I don't care whether you give me credit for it or not, but you made it sound like this is your understanding. You're a Yenta. You go to everybody's channel. Yads said the same thing about you, how you go to everybody's channel. What is wrong with you people that you have no lives? Moving on. I didn't hear any credit. I saw you on that fellow's channel, and you did not mention my name at all. So wherever you gave me credit, I didn't see it happening. Moving on. I don't care really much about you. I just care about the fact that there are Yentas on YouTube that you did not give me credit. I'm going to make a blatant, bold statement. You did not give me credit when you stated the information. And I don't know if you did later on, but what the statement that you made, someone asked, where does John get his money? And you explained everything I explained to you. Never mentioned my name, and I don't watch every minute of every live stream, but moving past that, we're going to talk about the other Yenta, the Giga Ego. You're done. Me and you are done with conversation. Don't ever ask me another question. You want to say hello? You want to stay on the live stream? You want to leave comments? You're welcome to do that, but don't ever ask me another personal. Oh, and the threats that you made to somebody last week are hilarious. You said, don't mess with me, to you, not to me, but to somebody else, because with one phone call, I can make you disappear. Miko said that. Mix Mike said that. One of your aliases said that. So basically, you live here in the Philippines and you can make one phone call and make somebody disappear. I think that is an extension of the truth. But I'm going to go on. I'm done having a conversation with you, for sure. So Louis Pagan Pot, what's up? What's up? Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to talk about, the Louis, we're talking about the Giga Ego and the Yenta and the Book of Mormons. I'm going to tell you a story about 17 Mormons who lived next door to me and that they got arrested. Now, but first we're going to talk about the Yenta, the Giga Ego, who is quoting the Bible, who has been notorious for giving money to the man that is helping Barry Jordan, which is really doesn't faze me one way or the other, but he did get called out on the carpet for that by Popeye. So Popeye called him an enabler. The Yenta, a.k.a. the Giga Ego, a.k.a. the most manipulative person in YouTube history, moved Popeye around the YouTube chessboard like a pawn. Popeye, I don't know you, and I don't really care to know you, because you have done some really crappy things over the course of the years. To me, by allowing people to talk smack about me when you know it's not true. That stuff should not be allowed to be posted on YouTube, but it is YouTube, as Big Kevin says. It's YouTube comedy. So you like it, but you don't want to take it, Popeye. Anytime anybody says anything negative about you, and I have said that, you block them. I'm blocked on your channel. When I could make a comment under a different channel, under Hoodwinked, I got that comment removed and blocked. Maybe I'm blocked, maybe I'm not. But the comment was removed immediately. You can't take any criticism, so I have to do this under the guise of posting a video specifically for Popeye, because Popeye, he can dish it out, but he can't take it. He gets moved around the chessboard, the YouTube chessboard, like a pawn by the master manipulator. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly. The Giga Eagle is by far the smartest person when it comes to manipulation of conversations and subject matter on YouTube. Nobody is better than him. Nobody. It's his life. Just like Don C's life is to post stupid comments, the Giga Ego, his life has been based on manipulating people to buy his product. Just like actors, and he's not a good actor when you see him actually visualize and watch him spew the words out of his mouth. Acting is not his forte. Manipulation is his forte. So manipulation, did he say he was going to come and testify on my behalf against my attacker? Yes, he said that. I have it in an email. 2 weeks later, he was giving my attacker money, $250, him and his wife, girlfriend, whatever. Did he say that he would never, ever, ever, ever have anything to do with my attacker? I have that video too. I'll look up the name of that video and we'll see if it's still up. He said, I would never have anything to do with that man ever. That the man, my attacker, that the Giga Ego said, he is all kinds of negative words, the Giga Ego said. Here it is, right here. The big hypocrite. Now, I don't know that I have this public or not. I think this is private. So, it's unlisted. But we can read this. I'm going to just cut out the link. I have the video recorded. You might be able to go see it on a channel called Sick Grandpa. So let me cut the link out. I don't want you to be able to see what I have. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, first, we have to turn this around. And then we have to go just this far up. Just that far. The big ego talking down to Jarrett. Message, the name of the video is Message to Sick Grandpa from Germany, later become best friends. That's the name of the video that this person is talking about down to, destroying that person's reputation. So don't say I don't have proof of what I talk about, because I do. I do record some of the videos just like everybody else does. And I do have proof that you, the giant Giga Ego, that you said I would never, in that video, I would never have anything to do with that man. He's come this and he's that and he's this. And then a few weeks later, you guys were buddies. You are a duplistic liar. I don't know how else to put it. You're a liar, dude. You're a manipulator, and then you count on people's bad memories. Every manipulator in every business, in every venue, of every type of let's control the audience. Let's control the emotions of the audience. Let's control the narrative. The giga ego is, in fact, a controller of emotions and or preys on the weak-minded that they forget what he said just a few days ago. So because the giga ego said, I don't give Barry any more money, well, that was on let's say a Tuesday morning, but Sunday he gave, through a third party, he gave Barry $100, which is cool. I don't think if you give him $100,000 that he's going to get out of this so easy, but that's not the point. Well, 100,000, yes, but 5,000 ain't going to make a difference with Barry, in my opinion. But the giga ego, the point here is that the giga ego manipulates you people, counts on your inability to remember what was said the day before, yesterday, and counts on your ignorance, and counts on turn the other cheek. Everybody deserves not a second chance in the giga ego's playbook, not a second chance, not a third chance, but as my friend put it, 127 chances Barry deserves. And Barry can have all the chances he wants. That's neither here nor there. But the giga ego, he manipulates. The manipulation 2 weeks ago was the manipulation of how much money he contributed to Barry's get out of detention. It's not jail, it's detention. Get out of detention. He manipulated the conversation. He wrapped Popeye around his little finger. He made Popeye look like an idiot by doing so. Popeye forgave him, and now Popeye is praising him as one of the greatest people that ever entered into the YouTube genre by stating in his show yesterday that Barry doesn't deserve a faithful woman like Shah. I saw a comment appear on the screen. Let me go check that comment out. Barry doesn't deserve, according to the giga ego, the golden tablet hoax. That's right, Lewis knows about that. Well, hello, the winter. I gotta get a ding, ding, ding here. I got a ding, ding, ding coming right up for Aloe. Aloe always gets a free ding, 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 because Aloe makes me laugh. Ding, ding, ding goes the aloe. Aloe goes ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Aloe the winter is in the house, baby. Louis Fagan Pump is in the house. Flying Circus is in the house. Miko is in the house. That's right, baby. Wait till we get into what the giga ego's newest trip is. So Popeye, he declares that Barry does not deserve to have a woman as faithful as Shah. So now Popeye has become the arbitrator of who deserves justice and who doesn't on a moral level. Hey, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Popeye, one of the most cowardly bloggers on YouTube, Popeye is. Never shows his face, never shows anything that he does. His claim to fame is he has 3 pensions. He doesn't give anybody on YouTube money. And his claim to fame recently is, I bought an e-bike for, I don't know, whatever it was, $800,000, something like that. But his newest claim to fame, this is Popeye's newest claim to fame. He bought a basket, a front basket for his dog, and some kind of bowl or cushion or something to put the dog in. So Popeye gets street pensions. He lives in his daughter's house. He doesn't show his face for fear of being recognized in real life. And that's the only reason that could be. And his claim to fame 2 months ago was he gave Nico's daughter a baby carriage, 3 pensions, never gave $1 on YouTube. His contribution to YouTube is his comedy videos, and that stuff is getting really old. So, and now, did he say, I'm going to subsidize Nico's trip to the Philippines? No, he's got the Giga Ego to do that. So, the Giga Ego, Popeye now has given the Giga Ego, Mr. Freedom of Speech, carte blanche to Barry's future wife. Barry, according to Popeye, does not deserve to have a faithful woman. But the only persons, plural, that does deserve to have a woman as faithful as Shah is the Giga Ego and Nico, because those are the 2 greatest men on YouTube, according to Popeye. No prime rib for the poopster's life. No, the poopster really doesn't show what he eats. He might eat prime rib. He might not. But he doesn't show anything personal about his... He likes to dish it out, but he doesn't like to take it. So, the Giga Ego is the only man besides Nico that deserves a woman with as much faith in her man as she has for Barry. What kind of a silly thing is that to say? Only 2 people on YouTube deserve a woman as great with as much faith as Shah? It's ridiculous. Popeye, why don't you just surgically attach your lips to the Giga Ego rump? Why don't you do that? Because that's what you just did. Now, Nico is your personal friend in real life. I could see having a private friendship and affiliation with Nico, but you've never met the Giga Ego. You don't pay attention to what the Giga Ego does. The Giga Ego also believes it's okay to have multiple wives, girlfriends, concubines, and for them to have multiple husbands, which brings us to the Book of Mormons. And the Giga Ego's statement that the Mormons, and we're going to talk about 17 Mormons that got arrested next door to me, and I watched it happen. The Book of Mormons, Mormons, was written by some joke named Joseph Smith. I double dare, I triple dare anybody in this audience to read the Book of Mormons and make sense of it. It's not possible. The Bible has several books that coincide with one another. There's a storyline, there's a beginning and an end, and in between there's a whole bunch of correlations between the different books of the Bible and some of the books that weren't included in the Bible. The Book of Mormons has no such connections. There's nothing, it's just one confusing statement after another. So let's talk about the Giga Ego believes that a woman, that you should be able to have multiple women because coming into the Giga Ego's life is a third, what he calls his second wife. So he is slowly justifying having a second wife, which he doesn't really need to justify, but he feels he does. So he's slowly psychologically moving you into believing the way he believes, which is okay. But this is his form of manipulation. However, moving in that direction, he also said, and this is a big one, that it's okay, if it's okay for a woman, for a man to have multiple wives, and you have multiple wives, then it should be okay for a woman to have multiple husbands, which would imply that you and your multiple wives are in bed with multiple men. That's the implication now. So, is the next state of development the Giga Ego coming out of the closet? Because I find that extremely rude, to say the least. So that's a legitimate question. Is it just making a statement as to what the way things should be according to an ancient belief by the Book of Mormons and other societies? Many societies allow the husband to have more than one wife or concubine. King Solomon had 800, my hero, and the Muslims are allowed 4 as long as they can afford to feed them and take care of the children. I dated a girl who had a mother who was a second wife of a Muslim, and that they don't think anything wrong with it. But in America, Congress, the Senate, wasn't going to declare the Mormons a valid philosophy or religion. And it's really not, in my opinion, because I've read and studied every aspect of it. It's just one confusing statement after the other. So who was Brigham Young and who was Joseph Smith and who were these people that believe in the Book of Mormons? They are a cult, in my opinion. That's all it is. It's a cult. Now, why do I say that? Okay, so first of all, if the Giga Ego believes in something, you could rest assured that there's some sort of perversion entwined with the belief itself. Because everything about that man is perverse, in my opinion. The fact that he eats his own eye candy, licks the fluids that drip out of his nose onto his finger and licks his fingers. That's not something that you should do in public. Most people have done that. I can't say that it's never happened, but not in public, dude. Not in public. And it's on Popeye's Father's Day live stream. So anybody that doubts it, ask Louis Paganpons. He watched it. Ask any of my friends. They watched it. And they said, wow, that's a little bit tough to take. Now, everybody's probably done it in private. In fact, let me just go one step further to the Giga Ego. You're probably healthier, germ-wise, because you do eat your eye candy and boogers. That's, believe it or not, if you were to Google, is it healthy to eat your own boogers? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, because all the germs that your nose and your mucous membranes collect during the course of the day, when you eat that, it makes your immune system stronger. That's a fact. I'm not making that up. Somebody Google it. It's true. So basically, the Giga Ego is being as healthy as you can get. He's given himself that extra, kind of like an energy boost, like Red Bull gives you wings. Eye candy gives you eye candy gives you the ability to fight bacteria. That's true. I didn't make that up. But moving on. The Giga Ego says it's okay to have stated that it's okay to have multiple wives according to the Book of Mormons. And we're going to find out where that book came from in a minute. Let me read the comments. Okay, wait a sec. We have a Mormon here. No prime ribs in the poopster's life. Now, I don't know what he eats. No blonde prime rib. No blonde. But yeah, Popeye does not, never shown a woman. Never shown a woman. Never shown being with a woman. Never talked about a date that he's had out of the Philippines 25 years ago. He could be asexual, which means he just doesn't have interest in women. Could be impotent. It could be, I doubt very much he's gay. I don't believe that. But Asexual means you're just not interested in women for whatever reason. And that's okay. But he talks about other people's sexual relationships. He's given the Giga Ego permission to be in Shah, to be in his harem. He's basically saying you should take Shah into your harem, in my opinion. Let's go back over here. Dennis Adam. Hello, Michael. Hey, Dennis. Ding, ding, ding. One of my favorite people in the whole world is here. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, Dennis. Louis Pagan Ponce. And he did all of that. Louis watched the Popeyes Father's Day video. I told him to go watch it to confirm that what I said is true about the Giga Ego eating his own eye candy, licking his own droolings from his nose. But first he strained it through his mustache. He got it down to his lip, and then he licked it like that. The eye candy kind of just rolled up into a ball, took his hand away, and then brought his thumb back to his lip like that. I watched the whole thing. Louis Pagan Ponce saw it as well. And he did all of that, licking and eating, without caring who was watching. He did Popeye's Father's Day live stream. This man ate his own drippings for 40 minutes, continuously, non-stop, every 30 seconds, for 40 minutes, without caring who was watching. Louis saw it. Hey, to the Giga Ego, I mean, I just justified it. You're just trying to build up your immune system, right? You know about the, I'm telling you this is true. You Google eating one's own boogers makes you healthy. It increases your, the Giga Ego is just trying to give you health hints, helpful health hints. It's healthy to eat your own boogers. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you about this. It builds up your immune system because all the bacteria in your nose and mucus helps your immune system build up immunities. So the Giga Ego is basically, he's being a health doctor, giving advice in factual format. Louis Pagan Ponce says, and he did all of that licking and eating without caring. Let's turn this around so you can see what I see. And he did all of that licking and eating without caring who was watching. Egotistical and narcissistic while maintaining a hint of holiness. That's true. That's true. So, now let's talk about the book of... Now, I started this conversation off in the beginning. I studied religion and theology. I've read more about it. I've gone to more lectures than anybody else in the YouTube genre in the Philippines, for sure. I studied it privately. I studied it in public. I studied it at seminars. And in real life, I read everything there was to read whilst I was studying it, including the Book of Mormons. It's not possible to come to a conclusion with the Book of Mormons, nor is it supposed to be possible. It's a contradiction of words every 3 or 4 pages. Now, Joseph Smith had a hand or wrote the Book of Mormons. But who is Joseph Smith? Joseph Smith is a man who... This is quite the story. Joseph Smith is a man who was visited, now get this, by an angel called Moron, M-O-R-O-N-I, Moroni. It's a play on words, folks. Say it backwards, and it says, I, moron. Let's show you this on the screen, the big screen. The Book of Mormons was the gold plates that Joseph Smith found and then wrote the Book of Mormons with, was founded on the concept that Joseph Smith found a stash of gold plates in a rock, and he was told where those plates were by the angel Moroni. Now, in parapsychology, metaphysics, Satanism, you always take the word that's important to the people or to the conversation and invert it, turn it upside down, use Hebrew letters or Greek alphabet, but in this case, or reverse the word. And if you reverse the word of the name of the angel, Moroni, and you state it in syllable format, it says, I, Noram. But if it just stated in two words, I, moron. I, moron. And anybody who believes in the Book of Mormons, I would say that I, moron is closer to the truth. That's true. I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this if I can. I'm going to post that statement. So the book, oh man, what happened to that? I think I canceled it. Oh man. Okay, let's go here. Let's go here. Joseph Smith, the golden plates. Okay, so we'll go back over here. That's the name. Oh, it's too long. So I got to cut that out. Now I'm going to tell you a story about the Mormons that I knew. This is a true story. Okay. I really did study all philosophies and religions. Really did. In real life, I spent thousands of hours studying this stuff. That's why I don't believe so much in religion. So the Book of Mormons, basically the fact that originally it stated that having a polygamous relationship is okay, is very similar to Satanism. Very similar to Satanism, because Satanism has an expression, do as that will. If it feels good, do it. That's a satanic, fundamental satanic statement. Do as thou wilt. If it feels good, do it. Doesn't matter if it hurts somebody else. For the most part, that's what it's stating. It doesn't matter if it hurts somebody else. It just, if it feels good for you, to do it. That's a satanic premise. So, the Mormons that I knew, okay, this is the Satanistic aspect of the Book of Mormons. Okay, so I lived at 31 North Channel Drive in Key Largo. Next door to me was known as the Boathouse. That house was owned by Pablo Escobar of the Medellin drug cartel, and he used to import his products in a boat cut in that house in the 1980s. That was where the contraband came into. There was a trolley underneath the bottom of one of the bedrooms, and they would pick up the pallets of the product, and the trolley would pick it up with an electric winch. The trolley went outside the boat cut, and there was a driveway, and the trolley would lower the contraband into the truck. And that's where thousands of pounds, tons and tons of contraband came into. So this is known as the Boathouse. It's 5,000, it's like 4,800 square feet. Biggest house in the area. So they rented it out on a daily and a weekly basis for holiday renters, and it has a beautiful dock and The house is gorgeous inside. It's really a spectacularly built house. So these people, 17 people, moved in 1 day. 1 day, 17 people. It's a family. Flywoods, I forgot to read your comment. I apologize. Flywood says, I was a Mormon. I was in the Mormon church for 2 years. Polygamy in the church was created by Brigham Young. Yeah, I brought his name up earlier. I don't remember every detail of it, but Brigham Young was one of the founders. And aside from the eight witnesses that saw the gold plates, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Brigham Young, and Flywoods posts the word because they believe in having, I think they do, extramarital affairs with even children. So let's go over here and get Flywood's comment in there. The guy's name was Brigham, Brigham Young, but Flywood says Brigham Young, and Joseph Smith. So some of the details I forget about that. Thank you, Flywoods. So let's go. Then he makes another statement over here. The original witnesses all left the church. I didn't know that. The original witnesses all left the church. None had ever seen the plates, but only held the box covered. No one ever witnessed him translating the plates. Okay, and this falls in line with what I know about the plates. No one ever saw the plates, says Flywoods 1. Thanks for stopping by, Frank, by the way. I have searched, and I did research at the time, where the plates were, who gave the plates, where they went, who has them now. And the story goes that the angel Moroni showed Joseph Smith where the plates were. 60 pounds of gold plates, 60 pounds of gold plates. He read them, he interpreted them, but the story on the internet is that there were 8 witnesses that saw the plates. But Frank Flywoods 1 is stating that the witnesses never saw the plates, only the box that the plates were held in. So there's no proof of anything Joseph Smith or Brigham Young ever stated in regards to the plates. None at all, 0. And that's all I could ever find out doing the research, because now I'll go into the 17 morons that were arrested. I watched 17 people get arrested by a SWAT team of 50 police officers and detectives at 2 o'clock in the morning. They lived right next door to me. My bedroom window looked over their driveway. These people, the Mormons, so they want you to become part of this cult. Flywoods can attest to this if he likes. And I don't know, I never got any further than talking to them about it, because I don't get dragged into cults or religions. It's all nonsense. It really is. There are good points to a lot of different philosophies, but it's basically an intangible spaghetti monster in the sky that can only, and it can be experienced through higher states of consciousness and or meditation, self-awareness, Hindu and yoga exercises that bring you to a higher state of consciousness. But it's not anything that's described in the Bible or any book, okay? Many practices and philosophies will get you to a higher state of consciousness where you will sense a feeling of well-being and or spirituality and or God itself. But it's not in any book or philosophy. You're not going to get it by reading a book. So these people, one of the sons, I had a 1990 GT 500, I think it was. I actually saw that emblem in my shop yesterday. It was a 5.0 Mustang, 5.0 Mustang, a 1990 5.0. It was a fast car. And the son of the Mormon wanted to buy the car, so I didn't have any use for it. It was too small for... It was an old car. It was a 1990 car we're talking about. It was 15 years old. So I sold it to him for $800. And then he was going to fix it up. He collected Mustangs. Anyway, from that meeting, they invited me in to a moron ceremony to indoctrinate me into the cult of morons. So I went. It was Thursday night. As many as 30 or 40 people would... The living room was huge. To fit 50 people in the living room was no problem at all. So that there was 30 or 40 people in the living room every Thursday night. I watched this go on. People would bring cakes and barbecued foods, and they'd have barbecues in the backyard, and they would go in the pool, and they would jump in the water, and it was a whole day affair every Thursday afternoon till night. So in the house, when I went in, I looked around, I'm going, wow, there's art in the house, like 5 foot wide, 7 foot high pictures of stuff, Queen of England type stuff. Could have been the King of France for all I know. They all look alike. And but the art was big. We're talking 5 feet by 7 foot high. The living room was 30 feet high. The living room was 3 floors high. And then around the living room was a catwalk. I have video of it somewhere, but it was a beautiful house. And it was 4,750 square feet. It's the biggest house anywhere in the area. So what they did was they gave me a Book of Mormon to read. So I tried to read it. It hurts your head. It makes you crazy. Because there's no way to follow a train of thought at all. There's no train of thought in the book. So I did some research. Oh, I forgot to post that. That's the second half of my statement I just posted. I did some research about this Joseph Smith fellow. He can't find... No one ever saw the plates. So an angel named Moroni told him where the plates were. They were in a rock. He took the plates out of the rock. No one ever saw the plates. The plates were interpreted, except for some plates. They were fused together that you couldn't open them up. And then apparently Joseph Smith had to put the plates back in the rock. And where they are, no one knows. Zero proof of the plates. Now, this only happened 150 years ago. It's not like, just like there's no real physical evidence of a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible. There's no second and third party writings from the year 000 or before proving that Christ existed. But most people have faith. And people that have gone into higher states of consciousness realize that the Christ consciousness itself is a reality. You'd have to be super aware, higher consciousness, not like a giga ego. That's something else altogether. That's more closer to do as thou willst. That's satanic format. If it feels good, do it. So let's read the comment here. Flywood says, check out the Mountain Meadow Massacre. Over 100 non-Mormons were executed by the church members, and the children were adopted into the families. I don't remember that. I may have read it. So Flywood's, he knows. So who did we start out? Thank you, Frank. We started out talking about the giga ego, saying, do as thou willst, satanic format to begin with. If you want to have 1 or 2 or 3 wives, It's okay, but it's also okay for your wives to have 1 or 2 or 3 husbands, which might get a little confusing in the bedroom. And I think that a lot of people would be coming out of the closet at some point in a relationship like that. That's my personal opinion. I think he's starting to ease you people into polygamy and do as thou wilt. If it feels good, do it. Because that particular fella, I have no qualm at all. There's no holding back. I believe that he has gone where most men have never gone before. And we're not talking about Star Trek. But there's no proof of that. But there is a little proof, but not a lot. So we have a guy who's basically stating second-party Satanism, do as thou wilt, 1 or 2 or 3 wives, and they each have 1 or 2 or 3 husbands, and basically group sex, a.k.a. satanic. The satanic aspect of reality is that's normal. Orgies and whatever they call that. So let's see. We have Lewis back in here. Nope. No one knows but Smith. Oh, he had somewhere between 20 and 40 wives. I don't remember that. I believe you. So, yeah, because of course you're going to make it okay for you to do that. If you're gonna write it down, and then we have clowns like the Giga Ego saying that this is okay. And it's okay to ask Barry Jordan's future wife to enter into your harem. That's sick. That's not just wrong, it's sick. It would be one thing to do it in private, outside of a detention center, but it's something else altogether when you have your thumb on Barry Jordan squeezing him, where he has to say yes, because he needs your financial support. That's sick. That is mental derangement at its best. But Popeye has now jumped on board with the Giga Ego, stating that he deserves shot. That's sick. Barry doesn't have much in life, and you have to take that little bit that Barry has away from him. Really? That's a sickness to the Giga Ego, that he wants to make Shah join his harem. That is a mental derangement of reality, in my opinion. And there's no moral turpitude in the Giga Ego at all. Hey, DNC. Hey, I got Barry's shirt. Hey. I never thought about that. Daisy bought this for me when I was in the hospital. In fact, I got to talk to her later. Yeah, so let me get that open. I have to ask. Daisy has a memory of where we put stuff. It goes beyond normal, her memory. She really has an aptitude for stuff that we put away 3 years ago. She remembers. She says, oh, no, go over there on that shelf, and it's underneath over there. She remembers almost everything. I can't find a tool. So, moving on, Flywood says, DNC, thanks for stopping by. Ding, ding, ding. We have another friend in the chat. The great DNC has ended. And you people owe it. Oh, get back up there. You people owe it to DNC, my alliance with Aloe, the great Aloe de Winter. DNC contacted me one day and said, Aloe, he wants to help you with your court case, and he's serious. He wants to let bygones be bygones. And I said, Aloe's pretty smart, and I'll give it give it a shot. So, and I did, and I'm glad I did. So because of DNC, Aloe and I became friends. So if you want to blame the laughs, the friendship, the insanity that Aloe and I go through with each other. In fact, last night, Aloe sent me a message that he heard a rumor that Barry Jordan's real father was the Giga Ego. Now, it's just a rumor, and that's why the Giga Ego is supporting the Barry Jordan, Free Barry Jordan cause. Now, I don't believe it. But that's what is being stated in some Discord servers, that the Giga Ego is Barry Jordan's real father. So I don't think it's true, though. But they're going to try to make that fly. So thanks, DNC. I see Red Horse on a Warrior Without Master. Hold on a second. Flywood says it's too lengthy here, but the BOM was written, the Book of Mormon, was written as a fictional story by a guy in Pennsylvania. Okay. The manuscript was stolen from a publisher and ended up in Smith's hands. Everything about that organization is misleading. There's no... Look, I read the Book of Morons, okay? There's no rhyme or... It's as if someone made up... Someone was making up a story, and then he dropped a hit of Double Barrel Sunshine. And you know what can happen when you drop a hit of Double Barrel Sunshine and you're writing literature. You know what can happen. Everybody knows this. Then he comes down, and a few weeks later, he has some old mushrooms in a bag, because, you know, you put the mushrooms, you grow the mushrooms in a terrarium, and then you could eat them fresh. But you don't, you know, when you get mushroom seeds, from what I heard, I had a friend of mine who probably grows pot now, I don't know for sure, but he was the best grower in all through the 70s, 80s, 90s. That's how he made a living. He used to grow shrooms in his grow room. He had a regular... This guy didn't just have plants. He had a grow room with an artificial sun that went around the room every 24 hours. And that's what makes the THC higher in plants. When the sun goes around the room, the plants lean east or west, according to the real sun, too. He had the sun set up on a 24-hour timer like the sun would be. So at sunrise, the sun came on, and the plants went towards the sun, and then they followed it around during the day, and at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the sun went off. Well, this guy grew shrooms as well. He grew shrooms, and he grew the highest level of THC possible. His stuff was... He made a living on it for 40 years that I know of. And what he would do is he would eat the fresh shrooms. He was always shroomed out. He lived on shrooms. But he would put them in a bag and put them in the refrigerator. But when there was too many, he'd give them to other people. He'd give you a whole bag of shrooms. Like, when I say a bag, I'm talking about a plastic baggie about that thick, and a 7-inch wide baggie about 3.5 or 4 inches thick, round, which would have several ounces of shrooms in the bag. I've got to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. So now this guy writing the Book of Morons, a week later, he eats a bag of shrooms. And he goes off on a different venture, because every trip is a different destination. Everybody knows this. So And that's what the Book of Morons is. There's no way to follow a train of thought. There's no train of thought at all. There's no connectivity from one thought process to the other. And Flywood's just saying that some guy wrote the book and then it was stolen. The manuscript was stolen and given to Joseph Smith, and he used it as a premise for his cult. And I believe that, because by the time you finish reading the book, look, most people don't read the Bible. I read the Bible 20 times, front to back. Word, every period, every paragraph. I cross-referenced every time it said, see this, see that, see this. I did it, I don't know, 20 times, 16 times, though, for sure. And the Book of Morons, though, you read it once, and that's it. You're done. You go, none of it makes any sense. Back to the comments. So Flywood says, let's turn this around. You can see Frank's comment. Frank says, eyewitnesses to the process. No. Too lengthy here, but the Book of Morons was written by a fictional story, as a fictional story by a guy in Pennsylvania. The manuscript was stolen from a publisher and ended up in Smith's hands. And that would make sense because the book doesn't make any sense. So you have some guy on shrooms, writes a book, then he drops some Christmas acid, then next week he does some blotter, then he gets a hold of the main guy and does some 25 LSD, and then he's back onto peyote buttons, and that's how he wrote the book. Flywood says, eyewitnesses to the process said Smith translated the plates, not by looking directly at them, but by looking through a transparent sear stone in the bottom of his hat. Wow. I heard about the sear stone. I read about that. So he didn't actually look at the plates. He looked through a medium called the sear stone. I remember that part. And the sear stone interpreted the plates. Yes, warrior without master. The closest analogy that you could make to the Book of Morons is Scientology, except Scientology is a lot more sophisticated, much more mind manipulating. It's on the level of the big ego when it comes to manipulation. They've got every facet of Scientology figured out to where they box you into it's a training process where you believe this because you're trained to believe it. None of it's believable. From looking at it objectively, it's all horseshit. But from a Scientology point of view, they indoctrinate you to believe nonsense. The two most famous Scientologists are Tom Cruise and John Travolta. And I've read all about it. And John Travolta is the egos in these men. They're both very successful men. Very, very successful men. But they can't give each other credit for their achievements in Scientology. So basically they stopped being friends years ago because they're jealous of one another for whatever reason. But it's just another cult. And the closest analogy to ideological philosophies is the Book of Morons and Scientologists. They're both bullshit. Oh, the thumbs up button. Oh, Dennis always forgets. I always forget. Thanks, Dennis. Let's see. We have 12 thumbs up. We got Don C. in the house, no doubt. I wrote a long essay about Don C. I believe Don C. is a total liar. Total liar. Don C. said he swims in an Olympic pool on the property that he lives on. That's 50 meters. It's 164 feet long by 25 meters, 82 feet wide. I don't believe a private property in Bangkok would have an Olympic pool on their property. Don Smith, Don C., you have quite the imagination. And I would ask you how many laps you do. And in a few months, when I'm allowed to go swimming, not diving, I want to see you swim a mile. I don't believe you can swim a mile. Flywoods, Dennis gave me an LOL for something. We never did get not another thumbs up. I'll give myself a thumbs up, number 13. So then Flywood says, the Book of Morons is one small part of the religion. The King James Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and the Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price are also part of the Book of Morons. Yes, they included parts of the Bible. You're right about that. So, absolutely, they did that. And I think they did that to justify the part of it that doesn't make any sense. And I forgot all about that part, but you are right. I did read that, and I do remember it. Louis Pagan Punts, yes. Yep, those shrooms were laced with peyote, undoubtedly. Those were the days. That's all I could say. So, Flywood says, he used the hat and stone long before he started the church. He and his father used it for treasure hunting. So the seer stone was something that was real. Okay. I only remember what I read, and I don't remember a lot of it, but other than it was nonsense. So there was some sort of transparent stone that you could look through. It could be like an amber or something like that. I'm sure the hat was lined with aluminum foil. Let me tell you something. Those bags of shrooms that Tommy used to give out would monkey you up good. Because the problem with a bag of shrooms, let me tell you what the problem with a bag of shrooms is. The problem with a bag of shrooms is you can't just, they're like Lay's potato chips. Nobody can eat just one. And they actually taste quite good, according to my friend that ate them. But they, what happened to a few people that I know, not my friend Paulie, he consumed something else altogether. But you'll eat one or two, and they don't taste bad. And then you'll say, well, I'm hungry and nothing happened, so let me have a few more. And then after a while, you don't know that you're eating them. You forgot all about that you had some before that. And you'll eat the whole bag. And you'll look down and you go, wow, my whole bag of Lay's potato chips is gone. I don't remember eating the first one. It's too late then. And you're off. And they're off. And that's what would happen. Tommy would give out 4 or 5 bags at a party and turn it into a fiesta, I say. I follow Frankology. Oh, Frankology. I can't wait to read the rest of that. I can't wait to read the rest of that statement, DNC. Frankology. There's something. That's a Bonnie Raitt. That is a Bonnie Raitt statement. Let's give them something to talk about. DNC says, I follow Frankology. We worship ourselves. Have to rebuttal at sunrise and at dusk and try to force values onto others that we won't use ourselves. What do they call that? The tenets. The tenets of Frankology. DNC is stating the tenets of Frankology. Thank you for the laugh. Louis Pagan Ponce, LOL, the memorial, the memories, Mike Lewis says, the memories of those bags of mushrooms being handed out on various nights. My first flight was with shrooms. I only got on the airplane a few years later. I gotta tell you. And you know what? Shrooms, back then, in the 70s and the 80s, you could pick up a High Times magazine and you could order a bag of seeds. There's like 1,000 seeds in a bag for $5. So, and every seed turned into a mushroom. So it was 100% legal to buy it and grow it in the 70s. I don't know what it is now, but I could tell you about his room. I know he doesn't live there anymore, but I don't even know if he's alive. He was the guy that was making love to Eddie, and I stopped talking to them back in 1988. I think it was 88. Yeah, 88. I was 33 years old. And he had a room. It was not a big room. It was a spare bedroom. He painted it white, and he put tin foil and plywood over the window. He had a tank of CO2, I think it was, CO2, and a 4-foot tank, and a backup 4-foot tank, and an artificial sun on a track on the ceiling. That's how he paid his rent. That's how he bought his Mazda RX-7. I'm probably one of the few people that ever saw the room. But he would grow buds, colas, this long. I know more about marijuana growing than probably anybody else on YouTube. I don't care if you were in the business or not. The guy who I was friends with was probably the most proficient grower maybe in the world at the time. He was growing colas 9, 10, 11 inches long, that fat, that you could put your hand on it like that, and the tar would pick the cola up off the table. That's how much resin was in the cola. And he was selling it for $3,000 a pound in the 1970s. So he was probably the best grower anybody ever knew of. And he was making a fortune. I didn't know this until he moved a few doors down from me in probably the late 70s. And then he had a room that was locked all the time. Not that I cared, because his bedroom was to the right and the grow room was on the left. But you never saw that door open. The bedroom door was open. There was no kitchen door. It was kitchen, dining room, living room set up. And he would... I don't smoke pot. I never smoked pot. I smoked it a couple of times in high school. I don't like it. But he would go, come on. I'm going, Tommy, I don't smoke pot. It makes me stupid. I can't remember where I put my car keys. I can't remember what I got to do in the morning. I just don't smoke pot. It's like I don't do heroin. So But he was always enticing me to smoke that shit, and I knew him since we were kids, and I never would. I never did. I smoked pot in 1997. I took one hit of pot in 1997, and I regretted it for 16 hours. And I took one hit of pot in 2001 and swore I would never do it again. And I never did. It just makes me stupid. And I want to eat. I just want to sit down and eat fried food. Potato chips, pretzels, peanuts. I don't care what's in. If it's edible, I'm going to eat it. And it makes me tired, stupid, and hungry. So I don't smoke pot, but I know about growing pot. And it was all hydroponics at the time. All hydroponics. And he had all these whatever you need to grow the stuff in boxes, and he had the plants themselves were, the artificial sun was on an 8-foot ceiling, so I'd say the plants were 6 feet. But every day he went in, and the trick to growing plants is to take off the part of the plant that takes away from the THC growth. And he went in with tweezers and tweezed all the parts of the plant, or snips, and snipped it all off. So only the juice or the resin would go into the cola. That's one of the tricks that he showed me, because I didn't care what he did. But and a friend of mine in California said also, when he grew stuff, he would go and pull on the root of the plant. And when you pull on the root of the plant, you disrupt the plant's root system, and it sends more power up into the plant. Whatever that means. I remember him doing that. And he also was a grower. That's where he gave me a 35 millimeter canister of seeds. And I brought it back, and I gave it to Tommy in 1980. I lived in California. And I gave it to Tommy. He started using my seeds. He's still using the seeds from that generation, from the 1980s. The children of the children. Children of the corn. And that room was pretty cool, though. That was pretty good. It smelled nice. And he always had a tan. I could never figure out how he always had a tan. The artificial sun. He was quite the grower. DNC, I follow Frankology. We worship ourselves. I have to rebuttal at sunrise and at dusk and try to force values onto others that we ourselves don't follow. Lois says, LOL, the memories, Mike. My first flight was with shrooms. I only got on the airplane a few years later. Shroom tea was the alternative to Kool-Aid and Tang. Yeah, Tommy made tea also. And he was constantly on shrooms. He lived his life on shrooms. And smoking marijuana. It was an amazing lifestyle that he lived. And he really didn't do much else. He was a grower. He had a nice RX-7 in 1979 when they came out. He bought a brand new RX-7 Mazda, gray. And we went all over New York. We went to 10 Mile River. We went to Haines Falls. We went to we went everywhere upstate. We went to see the colors. It was a beautiful car, great system. We went all over New York State, Long Island. He loved driving. He just loved to drive, and he would smoke that shit and drive. We would just take off and drive all day. That was the good part of being with Tommy. The bad part was that when he needed help, I'd lend him my truck, and I'd use my gas and my equipment to help him move. And then when you needed help, he had to watch a football game. And that was the bad part. There was a lot of other things. Plus, him and Eddie made love to each other on a regular basis. when I found that out, I was a little disappointed, to say the least. Moving back to Joseph Smith and the Book of Morons. So Frank Flywood summed up quite a bit of the Book of Morons, that fill in stuff that you're not going to see on the internet. So now let me tell you the story about my neighbors, the morons, the 17 morons. So they move into the house next door all at once. The moving truck comes, the artwork goes up on the walls. They have a guy with a 25-foot ladder throwing stuff up all over the place on the second floor so you could watch it from the catwalk. Big art, 5 foot by 7 foot high portraits with moldings that were 5 inches wide, and really nice artwork. And I'm going, boy, these people must be rich. So the guy, and I don't remember his name, but I wouldn't say his name anyway. The fella, the man, the head of the household, he was in charge of most stuff at the Key Largo Marina, owned by Gus. Well, Gus was the founder of Subway sandwiches. He owned 51% of all Subway sandwich shops, Gus. He was Greek. From there, he owned 13 casino boats in South Florida. He owned houses all over the world. He owned the Marriott Hotel in Key Largo. He owned the Holiday Inn in Key Largo. And he owned a half a dozen hotels in Key West, dozens of hotels in Miami. He was making $1 million a day from his casino boats and hotel revenue. And I worked for Gus as a maintenance for whatever Gus needed maintenance for. Never directly spoke with Gus. I met him once. He got off a helicopter, and I had to be there with my foreman, John. But I didn't talk to him. He didn't talk to anybody, really. So, but I was there. I saw what he looked like. He just looked like a regular guy. So he had his own private heliport behind the Marriott. You can check that out. It's still there. And Gus was, he owned hundreds of businesses. All you had to do was say, Gus, been your employee for a certain amount of time, and I want to start a business. And he would look at it and he'd say, okay, here's the money. I'll be 51% partner. That's it. Simple as that. So Big John probably still runs Key Largo Marine Service. He had a son named Little John. But the man, the big Mormon, he worked for John. John was the end-all, be-all foreman for everything Gus owned in life. He was the most trusted person of Gus. Now, I can tell you how Gus got his money. He started Subway sandwiches. I can tell you how he died. This is ironic. This is irony. This is karma. So would Gus do bodily harm to you? Yes. If you crossed him, he would just eliminate you from the process. So he had a partner, and you could look this up. It's all recorded, but you might not be able to get the skinny on it, the real story. But he had a partner that he was in business with. And there was some sort of falling out. Now, I don't know the details, but there was a falling out, and the partner's son died, mysteriously died. Leave it at that, right? So Gus was driving down the block in a car in Miami, and there was a car pulled up next to him and shot him with a shotgun. And his car, he was still alive for a while. His car went down the road quite a ways from where he got shot, and then swerved and crashed into a building, through a storefront, That storefront was the very storefront of the first Subway sandwich shop that he owned in life. The Subway sandwich shop that got him started. So his car went down a half a block or so, swerved off the road, and into the very first shop he ever owned, Subway sandwich shop. Everybody found that amazing. And I worked for him at that time. I remember when that happened. It was in the early 2000s. But Gus owned hundreds of businesses. And the man who lived next door to me, the head moron, he was in charge of the Key Largo Marine services. Boat dock, rentals, hauling boats out. The money's being charged for hauling boats out. Uh-oh. Low battery. Oh, man. Hauling the boats out. Hold on. It says my battery is low. And I plugged it in, but I don't know that it's gonna, I might die, it might die on me any minute. So the owner of the house was in charge of all of the marine services under John. Everybody was under John. Nobody was over John. His son, they called him the fat boy because he was about 6'4" and weighed 450 pounds. His son was in charge of the gas stock. His wife did the paperwork for the marina. His other son worked at a hotel, the Holiday Inn. His wife worked at the Holiday Inn with Fat Boy's wife. That's what they called him, Fat Boy. The parents called him Fat Boy. Then there was the aunts, uncles, and brothers and sisters. They all lived in this house. The house had like 8 bedrooms in it. And each of the sons was married. Then the brothers and the sisters were married, and they had a few children. They all worked for Gus. Every single one of them. But the accounting went through one particular, the accounting for Holiday Inn, the Hotel Marriott, and the Key Largo Marina all went through the man, the head of the house, all went through his wife's accounting office. And in her office were other members of the family. So they embezzled money. I don't know how much. They embezzled money. The gas, they had whatever was collected at the gas stock, they were siphoning off a percentage of that profit. I don't know how they did it. I just know that these were the charges. The accounting office for the Holiday Inn, the accounting office for the Marriott, and the accounting office at the head woman, the head accountant, she worked in Key Largo Marina. That was where the office of the head accounting office was held, not at the hotel, because the marina had a high-level second floor, just offices. So anyway, all of the people involved in the whole family were involved in some sort of fraudulent activity. So 17 morons, and the police came at 2 o'clock in the morning and arrested every one of them. Every one of them got arrested. No one was spared arrest. And then about a week and a half later, they moved out. Wherever they moved to, I don't know. But apparently they had to move because at that time, Gus was still alive. It wasn't until after that Gus got shot. So that's all true. And it's also true that Gus got shot more than a half a block away from his Subway sandwich shop, and the car went down the block and then veered into the storefront of the first sandwich shop that he ever owned, the first business he ever had. What an ending, huh? So that's all true. That could be that's all documented in legal records. Yes, Lewis says, yes. The 13B rotary engine. Awesome car. That was a beautiful car. You're right about that. I look like I'm in detention in Cebu, but I got a tan. I was out in the sun the other day. I got twisted up, burnt. Thanks for stopping by, Scott. Let's get a ding, ding, ding for the Scott, the Del Fuego. Dennis Flywood, Scott, DNC, Secret Troll viewers. Are there oh, there are 28 watching. I just noticed that. Hey, Don C., how did you like my commentary that you're a liar? You're a liar, Don C. First of all, some of the stuff you say is pretty funny, but I don't believe for a minute, not for 1 second, that you do laps in an Olympic swimming pool. You may do laps in a pool, but I don't believe it's an Olympic pool. You're going to have to show me a picture of you standing next to an Olympic pool on the property that you have a house in a gated community. Otherwise, you're just a stone-cold fibber. You're a fibber. Let's call you a fibber. You're like Chubba Wubba. Whatever happened with Chubba Wubba's revelations about Michael Fazio's arrest records? Hey, Chubba Wubba, what's going on with that? What happened to the new installments that you were going to post? So Don C., you're a liar. An Olympic pool is 50 meters, 162 feet, 164.2 feet, by 25 meters, 82.4 feet wide. You don't have an Olympic pool on your property at all. You're a liar, dude. But if you did, let's just say you did, how many laps can you do swimming? You want to try me out in the ocean, Don C.? Want to put a little money on who can swim further, faster? Just give me a few months, and we'll have that. We'll do that too, because I know I can swim further and faster than you. I know that for a fact. I don't even know how fast you can swim, because I don't believe for a moment you swim laps in an Olympic pool, because you are just like everybody else. I did this, I did that, but you have no proof. You have no proof. Show me you doing laps in an Olympic pool. Set the camera up and show me you doing a lap, 50 meters, 164.2 feet, coming back without stopping. Show me you do, let's say that's 164 feet. You need 6 of those to do 1,000 feet. You need 30 laps to do a mile. You want to try to keep up with me for a mile, Don C.? Oh, and Don C., he's not an alpha male. He doesn't have tools because his parents sent him to college, which he agrees. He's not an alpha male. He doesn't have tools. So I'm not saying that you're a sissy. I would never say that. Because going to college and making a living, and Don C. makes a lot of money. I mean, but that's not alpha male stuff. Making money could be if you were the owner of the company. That's alpha male stuff. But you were just an IT worker. So you're not an alpha male. But you said it yourself. And you don't know anything about tools. We're talking about alpha males make decisions. You have a job. You decide to go to work, and you keep your job. You decide not to go to work, you lose your job. What did you create in life? Alpha males create their destiny. You're a follower. But I think that's my opinion about you. Plus, you and the giga ego, you're up each other's rectum like hemorrhoids. It would take a one of those things that they got in the sky. What's the name of that big thing they got in the sky? That thing that looks at the stars. What's the name of that thing? Telescope. Have to stick one of those telescopes up the giga ego's men to see Don C. right up there. There's Don C. over there, next to Pluto. You're a follower, Don C. Just remember that. Scott, que pasa, macho? Hope all is well. Everything is well. Well, actually, yeah, everything is well. I put in a lot of time after I did the live stream yesterday. I rolled up 2 coils of, I don't know how many meters, 200 meters, 400 meters of string, 1/8 inch and 3/16 inch string onto spools. I went through my shop looking for the tip for the straight hammer. I can't find that. I don't know where it is. I'm going to call Daisy and ask her where that is. I cleaned up a little bit in the back. I threw out some stuff, some old paint cans that got hard to paint. Did a lot of stuff yesterday. I also sorted out some shovels and rakes. What else did I do? I brought that wood over to Nanai. All that, there was 3 crates and 4 buckets. Brought that over there. I prepared, I might do a live stream cutting up the pipe today. I might do that. I have the metal saw ready to come out. I have the extension cord ready to use. I have the magic marker in the bucket, alpha male stuff, and I have to cut the rungs and the length of the top of the ladder. I might do that after I do this live stream, because this live stream is shot. I talked about shrooms, and I talked about growing stuff. This live stream is shot. I might even, YouTube will demonetize. It already probably did demonetize the video, so I might just make this one private. Not that I care, but there's no reason for somebody to spend 3 hours listening to me babble on about Joseph Smith, who babbled on about nothing, and just be basically to just like the Giga Ego. They present themselves as human beings when literally they're subhuman, in my opinion. They're not real men. They're not. They don't do any alpha male stuff. Well, the Giga Ego, he does alpha male stuff. He builds laboratories and spaceships. High-tech stuff could be for building parts for spaceships. He does alpha male stuff, but not tool stuff. No, none of that. You never see him getting his hands dirty, other than eating eye candy and boogers and stuff like that. That he does. We have video. I have the whole video of that. I don't watch it though. I just have it in case I never did that. I never did that. Yes, you did. Yes. Oh, I got the pot. I got the pot. Oh. Bantai and Brawler. Salamat. Oh my God. I talked about spaceships and high-tech stuff, and the Bantai and Brawler. Let's talk about spaceships and high-tech stuff that flies. Let's talk about the Giga Ego and the man that lies. Let's talk about the health issues when it comes to eating snot. Everyone knows that eating your snot is good a lot. In a moment, I'll Google that too, and I will show you that eating your snot is good for your health because of the bacteria and the germs in snot. It builds up your immunity quite a bit more than a lot. That's why the Giga Ego, he eats his eye candy, fluids that run from his nose to his knees. And when he sneezes, there's more fluid to drink. And that should give you something to think Eating your snot helps your immune system a lot. Eating your snot is very good a lot. If you Google the benefits of eating your snot, you will find it boosts your immune system a lot. You can learn from the Giga Ego, who for 40 minutes licked his eye candy and snot. And by doing so, your immune system will be helped a lot. The Giga Eagle. The Giga Eagle. He is a trip, man. But you know what? I'm going to Google that right now. Hey, Bantayan Brawler, salamat. Salamat! Everyone should eat their snot. Salamat! Thank you a lot. The Giga Eagle. Oh, hey, Bantayan Brawler, salamat. Actually, I think I did send you a video of, there's a couple of videos that I have made privately I want to send out. It's called Alpha Male, The Mundane Moments. I didn't post that one yet. That's me coiling up rope 2 hours, but I only showed it to you for about 10 minutes. The stuff, somebody got to do it. This is the kind of stuff that Daisy was great at. And I did that. I coiled up ropes on an electrical spool for 2 hours yesterday. Actually, my shoulder, it's kind of an exercise for the shoulder. But let's go. Thank you very much, Bantayan Brawler. I appreciate that. That really helps a lot. And you guys should all take notice. Let's Google, let's go up here. Let's go up here. Let's go to Google. Eating, E-A-T-I-N-G. Ones, O-W-N, boogers, B-O-O-G-E-R-S. Eating, okay, so it comes up with a lot of answers. Eating your own boogers is good for you. I told you, I wasn't lying about this. Eating your own boogers is good for you. Eat my own boogers. Is eating your own boogers bad for you? Is eating your own boogers considered cannibalism? Can eating your own boogers make you sick? You eat your own boogers. What happens if you eat your own boogers? And is it safe to eat your own boogers? So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. You guys can pick one of these out. What of these comments? Eating your own boogers. Can you eat your own boogers? Is eating your own boogers good for you? Is eating your own boogers bad for you? Is eating your own boogers considered cannibalism? Can eating your own boogers make you sick? You eat your own boogers. What happens if you eat your own boogers? And is it safe to eat your own boogers? You guys pick from that list, and I'll just, you can put down the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6, like that. So let's see what you guys have to say about that. But you would have not, nobody believed me that eating your own boogers is good for you. Are eating boogers normal? Do boogers have germs? Why do I have boogers in my nose? And why are boogers salty? Now that's pretty pretty common sense wise, actually. But let's go back over here. History. Is it safe to eat your own boogers? Let's check that out. What happened to that original list? I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. All right. Well, we'll just have to pick one of these. Number 6. I wish I knew what number 6 was. All right, let you know what? Let me try this. Here it is. I think I found it. No. Let's go back. No. Oh man, is eating. Here it is. Okay. Is eating. So number 6 says Scott. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's not. Wow. I should have took a screenshot of that. That was an important thing. Okay, let's just go here. Let's go over here. Let's go. What happens if you pick your nose and eat your boogers? Is it bad to pick your nose? God, I wish I would have. Oh man. All right, let's eliminate some of this stuff here. Are eating boogers normal? Oh. Oh man, this was such an important topic. Healthy, pick your own boogers. Let's go here. Is it healthy to eat your own boogers? Nose picking could be a vehicle for transmission of streptococcus pneumoniae, a common cause of pneumonia among other infections. In other words, sticking a digit in your nose is a great way to jam germs further into your body and spread them around. That's not what I remember. Let's look up, is eating your own boogers good? Good. I remember it being good for you. Because if the Giga Ego eats his own boogers, it must be good, right? Is it bad? Well, protecting your teeth. Why boogers may be good for you. This is what the Giga Ego was. This is his point. There you go. There's the Giga Ego right there. Go look at Popeye's Father's Day video stream. That's him. That's the Giga Ego right there. Picking your nose and eating your findings is universally maligned. We even named it one of the gross habits you should avoid. But what if this behavior should actually be encouraged? A 2015 study claims we should be doing exactly that. Researchers at MIT said people should be eating their boogers and encouraging their children to follow suit. The reason, protecting your teeth. They found that boogers contain salivary, mucins, I say. There's mucins in those boogers, which forms a barrier on your teeth that can cause cavities. These salivary mucins are so effective that researchers are looking into the synthetic mucus that can be put into chewing gum. Synthetic mucus, I say. Synthetic mucus. Katharina Ribik, a biological engineer, professor at MIT who co-authored the study, told Aussie.com in 2015 that a synthetic could be a better alternative to antibiotics. So synthetic muci are better than antibiotics. I told you. If the Giga Ego does it, it must be good. There's even evidence that the mucus could help prevent respiratory infection, stomach ulcers, and HIV. The initial study is 2 years old, but Ribik published another study this month on mucins and the regulation of microbial virulence that she believes can be the basis for creating synthetic mucus. This stuff is good for you, baby. Here we go. So this is everything I ever read years ago about this is right here. Because you eat the mucus, the muci, the mucals, because you eat the mucals and it has bacteria in it, when you eat the bacteria, it builds up your immunity. I've read lots of articles about that. I'm an expert when it comes to mucus, what is that word there? Mucins. Where is that word? Mucins, right here. Salivary mucins. When it comes to salivary mucins, I know everything there is to know about salivary. The Giga Echo. Roasted boogers. Baked boogers. Roasted boogers. Fried boogers. Fried clams. Hey, talking about, did you ever wonder? Here's a question for you. You want to know everything there is to know about boogers and mucus? Remember when you was a kid and you went, and you coughed up a clam, and then you spit it out, and you go, and you would be on the ground, and it would be green and yellow and orange, and you'd go, look at that clam I just made. Here's a question for you. Which came first, the clam or the clam? So, was a guy like 5,000 years ago, did he cough up some mucus and then throw it onto the floor, spit it on the floor, and say, wow, let's call that a clam? And then years later, somebody was clamming for clams, but they didn't know what to call them, and they were shucking them, and somebody threw a clam on the floor, spit up a clam on the floor, and said, wow, the clam I just shucked looks just like the clam on the floor. Let me call it a clam. So which came first, the clam or the clam? That's today's question. Let's turn this around. DNC. Louis Pagan Ponce, LOL. The memories. Okay, we did that one already. Let's go on. Detention. My shirt. Thank you, Scott. Everybody saying hello to one another. We have the Bantayan Brawler. Talk about technology, and the Bantayan Brawler shows up. Let's roasted booger, says Scott Del Fuego, with a delicate sauce of eye mucus, followed by nasal fluid, filtered through a mustache hair. Sounds great. Well, go see Popeye's Father's Day live stream if you wanna know how it is. Do trolls eat boogers? Says Dennis Adams. I think everybody's eating a booger during the course of their life. In fact, I heard a story once. A guy was telling me. Guy told me two things. His girlfriend was Greek, and he was half Greek, and he worked for me. I don't remember his name. And he said to me that when he had to go to the bathroom to do a number two, that his girl would always come into the bathroom because she enjoyed the aroma. That's true. And then she would do other things too. That's true too. But also, she would eat his boogers. She liked that. She was a booger eater. She ate boogers. So she would come into the bathroom when he was doing a number two, simply for the aroma. And when I said to him, "You're full of doo-doo," he confronted her in his house, in his apartment, when I went to pick him up. And he said to her, "Will you please tell Mike that you come into the bathroom when I'm doing a number two because you enjoy the smell?" And she admitted it. So there's a lot of habits out there that we don't know about. Now, I don't know that that's a Greek thing, but she just enjoyed the smell. To each his own. That's where the expression "to each his own" comes. That's true love. Then it says, "Do trolls eat boogers? How many calories in boogers?" Oh, this could be a topic. This could be a topic. I could see this as a hot topic, or at least a 98.6 degree topic. I guarantee eating your own boogers is better than someone else's. Scott was ahead of the venue with that girl eating the guy's boogers. She did that. I may commission a bespoke booger picker for you, Michael, custom made for your nostrils. Which came first, the clam or the clam? Dennis Adams. Campbella booger stew. Buy one, get one free. Campbell's booger stew. Buy one, get one free. That's Dennis. That's something that could be, you could market that. Imagine this, Dennis. Imagine this. The Giga Ego is looking here now, right? And he sees Dennis Adams' comment, "Let's market boogers," right? And the Giga Ego, with his abundance of liquid cash, he develops a package of dried boogers. It could be anything. It could be cornflakes flavored with, watermelon juice or something like that. And they come in different sizes, like Captain Crunch. Some of them are more crunchy than others, and raisins. So you can have boogers and raisins. And the Giga Ego, he markets this, and it becomes a success. I have nobody but you to blame for his success, Dennis. And based on some of the stuff that he does in real life, that's not so far-fetched, 18 watching. I don't care about that. So, thank you for 18 watching. 16 thumbs up. I don't care about that. The book soup is what I meant to say. Dennis Adams, thanks for pointing that out. Can we get a thumbs up? Can we get a thumbs up? You know how I live for thumbs up. Bring on the Campbells, says Scott Del Fuego. LOL and a heart for Scott Del Fuego from Dennis. A comparison food to Spernips and Boogerettes. Now there you go. There you go. And on the back of the Campbell's Boogerettes, you could have a daily saying. Which came first, the clam or the clam? What is the definition of vertical lips? What came first, the clam or the clam? You can have, like, you know, sayings like, if two people pass gas in a car and they're both silent and only one stinks, do both people get to enjoy it? You know, questions that the philosophical greats should be asking the people. Questions that only I cover in my insanity of live streams and stuff that's completely useless in real life. Which came first, the clam or the clam? Now you think about this. You have a cold or the flu, and you spit one out onto the floor, and it's green and yellow and beige and skin colored, and then you open up a clam and you put the clam and the clam next to each other. You can't tell the difference. They look identical. So what came first, the clam or the clam? And that's been a question I've asked myself for 50 years. This is something that keeps me awake at night sometimes, not knowing the answer to that. When did a clam look like a clam? Who made the first clam? How did the word clam go lateral to mucus to a clam? Did it go lateral, or were they both invented at the same time by different men by chance? Was it a chance coincidence that a human clam and an ocean clam look alike? These are the things that keep me awake at night. We did get another thumbs up. Thank you, Dan. Booger chips and spurnips. What are we going to do tonight for dinner? I don't know, but I got dessert. Booger chips and spurnips. Charlie says, love my burgers plenty. Charlie says, really rings a bell. Charlie says, love my burgers plenty. Don't know any other candy that I love so well. Remember that's the Good and Plenty candy song. I remember that. The booger plenty. Good, booger good, and booger plenty. I had, Dennis laughs, Philip Janik. I had a Mormon roommate in the service. Hello, Philip. Thanks for stopping by. That's pretty cool. So what, you want to add anything to Mormonism? You're welcome to do so. Mucus damn near killed us. Yeah, the COVID mucus. Let's see what we got here. We have a troll in the house here. The giga ego. Man. Dude, after you told me and everybody else that you were going to make love to not one but two ladyboys, our friendship was over. But then you're a very, very twisted human being, in my opinion. Asking Barry if you could make love, if his future wife can join your harem, that's pretty low, man. I mean, like, he needs your money. He can't say no. He's not man enough to say no because that's how bad he needs your money. Or he is man enough to say no, but he needs your money more than his ego will allow. So he has to put down his ego and tell you to go screw off, which he should have did, and then say, yeah, well, for you to ask the question, that's one of the lowest things I've ever seen happen on YouTube, in YouTube history. And then Popeye kisses your buttocks and forgives you your trespasses, and you quoting Bible quotes And now Joseph Smith and polygamy and trying to explain it to some moron that doesn't know what paragraphs mean. The moron, Kyle, Grill, whatever his name is, 1,500 words run-on sentence in capital letters with no commas, no apostrophes, and no periods. And we're supposed to figure out what that said as his rebuttal? And you justify polygamy. And you justify polygamy with multiple men as well as multiple women. It's just a matter of time before I think you're going to come out of the closet. All right. So what I got to do now is I got stuff to do outside. Thanks for watching. More men. More men. Midgets are people too. I don't know, man. I read that eating boogers increases your immune system. That's what I read. Philip Janik, he made me immune to alarms right after I went to sleep. He'd wait 10 minutes and set off my alarm while hiding it. He'd do it over and over till I became insensitive to alarms. This is his Mormon roommate. So he had a weird sense of humor. Yeah, because your alarm could go off after 10 minutes and you jump up and think it's morning. That's happened. In fact, that happened to me the other day. I went to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I woke up, I'm going, it can't be morning already. But I got up and I started making coffee before I looked at the clock. And then I'm going, it's not morning, it's 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, you could lose track of time when you're sleeping. So what time is it? Time for me to go to work. I think I got some alpha male stuff to do. I gotta find, oh, by the way, they never came to put the water line in yesterday. So my landlord bought the water line and the fittings to put the water line in, but it rained. And let me tell you what standard procedure on the weekend here is. When it rains in the morning for a long period of time, somewhere around 12 o'clock, if it's still raining, it's time to buy rum. So when I dropped the firewood off at Nanai's house during the rainstorm, 3 people were over there with a bottle of rum. 3 of the 5 people. Guapo, my landlord, the man, was not drinking. But the other 4 men were drinking. When I went next to the Peruke next door here to go check to see if the men were putting the water line in, they were drinking. And I walked up the blocks, thought maybe they were around the corner where the water line originates from. They were drinking. But the men who were going to put the water line in never came. So today is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 days, no water. I have 4 bottles, 10-liter bottles of water. But yesterday, Dominic said I could use the water next door. There's a I don't know, 500-gallon water tank next door that we could get water from there. Because nobody has water. Everybody's out of water. I have drinking water, but no water to wash with. I used 2.5 gallons of water to take a bath last night. I could do that with 2.5 gallons of water, but it's much better if I have 10. 9 days. And they didn't come because it rained. It's just a water line. It's raining, means it's nice and cool. Any digging that you have to do, the ground is soft. You would think they'd want to come on a rainy day because it's cool and the ground is soft from the moisture and wetness of the soil, but they didn't come. They didn't come all day yesterday. They didn't come today, that's for sure. Today's Sunday, today's drinking day. They'll probably come tomorrow. So it'll be 10 days, no water. Not a drop. Not a drop. And all because the water lines crossed over a man's property. That's a fact. And he built huge flower boxes and walls over the water lines. And he cut off a couple of them right that day. They were just gone. So those water lines might be running water through them all the time, 24/7. I don't know. But when they put the concrete walls up, my water line got cut. And I just thought we didn't have water that day, or that for those few days. Then I went up to look and saw the wall was there, and my water line was gone, and there was a big giant concrete flower box there. So he had the right to put the flower boxes there, but the men who put the flower boxes in cut 2 water lines. Now this last water line, no one knows why it broke. But we don't have water now 10 days. 10 days, no water. So if I didn't have 30 gallons of water and several buckets of water, I wouldn't have been able to take a bath. Of course, I could use the ocean. And of course, the Stanley House will give me water. And now Dominic offered water yesterday because he knows that now no one has water. We all used up our reserves. 10 days. And instead of coming on Sunday and making a few dollars, they'll install the water line during business hours, which is what they're supposed to do. But they don't do it for free. You have to pay them to do it. You pay for the materials and you pay the labor. But it's my landlord's pipe, so he's going to pay for everything. But 10 days with no water. And you know why we have water? Because on the 6th day, I called up the water department and said, we have no water. No water? No water. Are you sure? No water. Did you pay your bill? I was just in last week. I had 500 peso surplus, and I gave you an additional 500 pesos on top of the pesos that were in the bank, so to speak. Michael Fazio, Dolho, 500 pesos on June 10th. So now I have enough money in the water. I use 15 pesos a month, 30 pesos a month. So I have 2 years upfront paid. So they checked on that and said, okay, we'll come and take a look. On the 7th day, they showed up. We couldn't do any work. And on the 8th day, which was Friday, they determined that the water line is broke. And on the 9th day, yesterday, Saturday, they didn't put the water line in because it rained. Today's the 10th day, it's Sunday. So it'll be 11 days with no water. But had I not complained on day 6, nobody would have complained. Nobody would have called up. Nobody would have went to the water department because they think this is normal. I am the only person that called up. The only one. And yet 9 people don't have water. And I'm the only person that called up. The Filipinos are very nonchalant. They just accept whatever's handed out to them. 6 days with no water. Children need water. You need to wash clothes. You need to wash dishes. You need to flush the toilet. You need to wash your motorcycle or your car. You need water. And I'm the only person that called up. Scott did that to a roommate when I just started on the job. I set off the alarm at about 8 p.m. and changed the clocks to 6 a.m. He thought he was late and went to work. I did that once years ago. I don't remember why, but I got up and had coffee in the middle of the night and I never went back to sleep. Get those 55-gallon... Yeah, you know, I have a 40-gallon barrel, Philip, but I've never needed it before. I have a 25-gallon barrel. I have 2 5-gallon buckets that I put bleach in, and I have 20 2.5-gallon water jugs. I've never needed water before, ever. You know, when I run out, I tell you I ran out. I tell you there's no water, but I have enough water to get through. And then, of course, there's the ocean if you want to go get buckets of water. It's only 90 seconds away. But, yeah, 10 days. It'll be 11 days tomorrow. I think they'll have that water line in. I got to go. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Thanks for watching my Booger Central. Thanks for watching. And Italian Brawler. As soon as I talked about high-tech stuff, the Italian Brawler. High-tech stuff. The Italian Brawler surrounds himself with high-tech stuff. Salamat, eat your boogers a lot. Increase your immune system as much as you can. That's the way we do it here in the Philippines. Actually, I've never seen anyone eat their boogers for 40 minutes. It's a first. It's a first in YouTube history. 40 minutes of non-stop booger eating. Thank you, Philip. Always enjoy your live stream. Stay safe. Ignite. Philip, Janet, thumbs up. Everybody, I'm Pink Permy from the Philippines. Dennis, you're welcome very much for the show. Thanks for being my friend, Dennis. Thank you more than thank me. Scott, Lewis, Italian Brawler, DNC, Flying Circus, everybody that stopped by, thank you. I'm Pink Permy from the Philippines, from Michael Fazio. And Daisy May. You know what I should do? All right, I'll call her later. Bye-bye for now. I think I'm going to do that cutting of the pipe. No, the cutting of the pipe has to be tomorrow. I got to do that in the morning. I got to set everything up in the morning. It's a lot of work to set that equipment up, where I'm going to set it up. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye for now. How do I shut this off? This is different.